Good morning, sir. Myself Ashijan, Department of Pharmaceutical Science and Technology, Maharaja Ranjit Singh, Punjab Technical University, Batinda. Here I am presenting my e-poster on optimized extraction of oleoresin capsicum and analytical method validation for capsaicin using HPLC. So start with the introduction. Oleoresin capsicum is the natural lipophilic irritant and the pungent principle of capsicum present in the capsicum fruit. The main pungent principle of oleoresin capsicum is mainly depend upon the at least 5 capsinoid, that is capsaicin, dihydrocapsaicin, nor-dihydrocapsaicin, homo-dihydrocapsaicin, and homocapsaicin. Above 5 capsaicin, dihydrocapsaicin, and nor-dihydrocapsaicin contribute 98% of capsinoid concentration and pungent of a pepper. The objective of the study is the extraction of oleoresin capsicum from capsicum fruitness done by optimization of time, temperature, and solvent using the reflux method. And the second objective for HPLC method for quantitative analysis of capsicum was developed as per SCHQ2 guidelines, and validation of oleoresin extract was done by comparing peak, area, retention time, and content of capsicum in the extract. Material and method. The capsicum fruit purchased from the local market at Batenda and standard capsicum purity 99 purchased from Sigma Electric USA. Methanol of HPLC grade purchased from Finer Chemicals Ahmedabad, India, and chloroform methanol and acetone purchased from Loba Chemicals, Mumbai. The method of the extraction of oleoresin is dried at paprika purchase and pre-treatment by using sun drying for 3 days and triturate and drying for hot air over 60 degrees Celsius for 1 hour before extraction. Extract after the extraction water bath for 5 hours and filter out crude extract. Evaporate the rotating evaporation 50 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. Purification by using 1% HCl concentrated solution and oleoresin capsicum found. Result and discussion. Percentage yield of oleoresin capsicum using different solvent and extraction condition. So we used the 4 different solvents for extraction of oleoresin capsicum: ethanol, chloroform, methanol, and acetone, and different temperature 30 degrees Celsius, 40 degrees Celsius, 50 degrees Celsius, and 60 degrees Celsius. And we found the yield between the range between 2.57 to 3.17. So with figure 2 represent the chromatography of standard capsaicin. Figure 3 represent the chromatography of extracted capsicanoids, and figure 4 represent the standard curve of capsicum in methanol. Table 2 represent select condition for method development, where column is C18 HPLC, column mobile phase methanol and water 65.30 ratio 35 volume by volume, flow rate 1 ml per minute. Detection wavelength was set for 280 nanometer, retention time found 8.138 minute, and injecting volume was 20 microliter, run time 10 minutes, and temperature set for 37 degrees Celsius. And validation parameter found the linearity between 1 to 9 microgram per ml. Standard degradation equation found 4 is equal to y is equal to 4614.9 x plus 53441, and R square value 0.9974, accuracy found 98 to 99.71, precise intraday found 0.67 to 0.94, or intraday found 0.56 to 1.01. Robustness change in composition mobile phase found 0.39 to 0.61. Change in temperature found 0.2 to 0.81. And flow rate found, change in flow rate we found robustness is 0.19 to 0.62. LOD found 1.04 microgram per ml, and LOQ found 3.03 microgram per ml. So here we conclude the study. The study highlights the optimum condition for extraction of oleoresin capsicum from capsicum fruit. The reflex method developed is safe, easy to operate, utilize less solvent volume, and gives the highest percent yield as compared to other reported extraction method. Here are some references. Acknowledgement. Authors are thankful to Science and Engineering Research Board, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India for providing research grant under the Core Research Grant Scheme CGR 2018 0.0000425 to Dr. Ashish Baldi, and Research Fellowship to Mr.
Hello everyone, myself Supriya, pursuing my Masters of Pharmacy at G. Pulla Reddy College of Pharmacy. I am going to present on the topic New FTIR method for quantitative analysis of sildosin in bulk and pharmaceutical dosage forms. Introduction. Sildosin is an alpha blocker. It relieves the symptoms of BPH by relaxing the muscles of the bladder and the prostate. This is the structure of sildosin. FTIR is used for qualitative and quantitative analysis. It is a rapid and cost-effective technique. There are different methods of sampling in IR. Coming to literature review. Review of literature reveals that as there is no FTIR method for the estimation of sildosin, So the present work is an attempt to develop a new sensitive method for quantitative estimation of psilocybin by using FTIR. IR radiations can penetrate into deeper layers of the drug when compared to UV visible radiation, so the trace amount of drug can be detected using FTIR. Coming to objectives, to develop a new sensitive FTIR method for quantitative estimation of psilocybin in bulk and pharmaceutical dosage forms, and to validate the developed method according to ICH guidelines. These are the materials which I have used. Coming to method validation parameters, the developed method was validated according to ICH Q2 R1 guidelines. The parameters included are sensitivity, linearity, precision, recovery. Coming to results and discussion. Linearity, it is an analytical procedure to obtain the response which is directly proportional to the concentration. It is measured at 5 concentration levels, that is 40 to 200 microgram per mg. The psilocybin obeys the Beer-Lambert's law in this concentration range. This is the overlay spectrum of linearity. Coming to sensitivity, includes LOD and LOQ value. LOQ. The values of LOD and LOQ are as follows: 23.85 nanogram per mg and 72.28 nanogram per mg. By using the regression equation, LOD and LOQ are calculated. Coming to the precision, was measured in terms of repeatability, intraday and interday. Repeatability, analyzed by taking the spectrum of 6 replicates of standard drug, that is 100% concentration, and percent RST was calculated. Intraday and interday, here 3 different concentrations are analyzed for 3 different days, and percent RST was calculated. The percent RST for repeatability and intraday and interday precision was found to be less than 2%. Coming to accuracy is done for drug substance and drug product. For drug substance, the percent RST was found to be less than 2%, and for drug product it is done for 3 different concentrations, that is 80, 100 and 120%, and percent recovery was found from 97.7% to 118.7%. Coming to assay was performed in 2 methods, extraction and scoop method. 10 tablets were taken and weighed, and tablet powder is equivalent to the weight of 1 tablet was taken and dissolved in chloroform and centrifuged at 5000 rpm for 10 minutes, and the supernatant is collected and allowed to evaporate. The extracted drug is mixed with KBr and analyzed. In scoop method, the tablet powder is spread on the paper as a heap. A spatula is placed, and exactly from the center of the the scoop is collected and mixed with the KBr. And the results says that by using chloroform, the pure drug is extracted and the functional groups are determined, whereas in the scoop method, the functional groups cannot be determined. Conclusion: FTIR method being simple, economical and less time consuming than other available methods, and can be used for the estimation of psilocybin in different dosage forms. These are the references which I have used. Thank you.
Hello. To begin with, I would like to extend my gratitude towards RACCOPS ICDD 2021 for allowing me to present the poster for the International E-Conference on Drug Development. I, Mrs. Sonia Fateh, allotted code PC128, would like to present poster on the title Synthesis, Characterization and In Silico Studies of Series of 3,3-acetyl 2-oxoquinoline 1,2-H-IL 2 substituted phenyl thiazolidine 4 own derivatives as anti-cancer agents. As we all know, cancer is one of the prevailing life-threatening disease in the world, affecting several different organs of the body. Among all the types of cancers, lung cancer is the leading cause of malignancy, affecting about 2.09 million people worldwide. There are several different types of treatment available, including chemotherapy, immunotherapy, and surgical procedures, which are all costly affair, and more of the anti-cancer drugs have unpleasant and serious side effects. Hence, after having knowledge of various different nucleuses, quinoline 2-own nucleus was found to be one of the good nucleus for synthesizing novel drugs as anti-cancer agents, so we went ahead using quinoline 2-own as a base nucleus. The objective of our study is to carry out extensive review of literature on quinoline 2-own as a base nucleus, the disease, new drug development, then further to synthesize the various analogues of thiazolidine 2-own, then to carry out the structural study using physical and spectral analysis, to perform in silico studies, that is molecular docking studies and ADME studies, then to carry out anti-cancer activity on the synthesized compounds. The various material and method required for the research work is mentioned in the poster. Coming to the scheme of synthesis, which is mentioned in figure number 1, the overall scheme of the synthesis involved 4 steps to finally get 10 derivatives of thiazolidine 4-one. Finally, all these 10 derivatives were subjected to molecular docking study, and the molecular docking study showed the result that compound 5H showed the highest MolDock score, that is minus 114.658, which is comparable to that of standard drug imatinib as well as the standard ligand for anilinoquinazoline. Now, when the drugs were also subjected to in vitro ADME studies, all derivatives showed that it fulfills Lipinski's rule of 5. Also, the biological activity results, if you see, in vitro anti-cancer activity was performed by MTTT assay method on A549 lung cancer cell lines, and among all the drugs, again, the compound which showed good MolDock score was found to be the most potent compound. Also, IC50 microgram per ml study showed that again compound 5H was found to be the most potent one, even more potent than the standard drug. Now, coming to the conclusion, if I have to conclude on the research work, I would say that compound 5H possesses a very good potential of being a very good pharmacological agent as in for lung cancer. At the same time, if you look overall, compounds having electron withdrawing group on the benzaldehyde at para position were known to have very good activity. More of all the compounds, especially the 5H, had very high potential of becoming a good pharmacological agent if formulated correctly. Thank you.
A very good morning to one and all. Myself, Sheikh Sana. My topic for today's presentation is antifungal activity of various solvent extracts of Costus speciosus and Costus pictus and their preliminary screening studies. Oral candidiasis or oral thrush is one of the most common fungal infections. The main causative agent behind this mycosis is Candida species, mostly Candida albicans. Many traditional medicinal plants have proven to be effective against oral candidiasis. One of such plant species, Costus, is also very effective and shows potential antifungal activity. Main objective of the work was to assess antifungal activity of various solvent extracts of both the plants, that is, Costus speciosus and Costus pictus. Solvents such as hexane, methanol, ethyl acetate and water were used for the extraction process. These solvents were selected on the basis of thorough literature review. The plants were procured from a local nursery and was authenticated. They were given a wide accession number. They were further cleaned, dried and powdered. Basically, the leaves and rhizomes part of the plant were used. Maceration process was found to be suitable for extraction of the active constituents present in the plants. Agar-well diffusion method was used to determine the antifungal activity against 5 different Candida species, which are mentioned in the presentation as well. A known quantity of extract was transferred in the well containing pre-swabbed agar plates. Clotrimazole was used as positive control. The results were recorded after 48 to 72 hours of incubation. Hexane extract shows a strong antifungal activity overall, while the methanolic extract shows a lesser antifungal activity against particular strains such as Candida glabrata and Candida parapsilosis. Ethyl acetate extract exhibited activity against certain strains only, such as Candida glabrata, while the aqueous extract exhibited no antifungal activity against the fungal strain. The zone of inhibition was recorded for each extract. Maximum zone of inhibition of about 34 mm was observed by hexane extract against Candida albicans species. Thus, from the present study, it can be concluded that both plants demonstrate promising antifungal activity. In future, additional work can be executed to elucidate possible mechanism of action and the active constituents responsible for the same. Lastly, I would like to thank Padma Shri Fatma Zakaria Madam for her endless support. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Komal Sunilpol from Srimati Kashibai Nole College of Pharmacy, Pune. Here I am going to present a poster on exploiting conformational sampling of SARS-CoV-2 prefusion spike protein to identify potential hits. So let's start with the introduction. SARS-CoV-2 causing devastating COVID-19 emerged as a global pandemic. A viral spike glycoprotein exists as a homotrimeric metastable prefusion form which is responsible for viral entry into the host cell. The binding of S1 subunit of spike glycoprotein to ACE2 on a host cell leads to transition of S2 subunit to highly stable post-fusion conformation which accelerates the viral entry. There are about 362 diverse forms of crystal structures of spike protein. The prefusion closed state conformation is anticipated to be in a dynamic metastable state and could be exploited as a target in a finding promising lead candidates. Moving to the objectives, to exploit 10 microsecond MD trajectories in a docking-based virtual screening of natural product database to perform ensemble docking on spike protein conformations using MDoc to identify and perform MD simulation on top 10 hits. Material and methods. Publicly available 10 microsecond MD trajectories of trimeric closed state conformation 6VXX of spike protein was used. The trajectory deviating to larger than 35 Armstrong were clustered into the 22 clusters. The centroid of each cluster representing average structure was separated as an individual conformer. The IBS database was filtered and optimized so as to choose 18,674 unique phytochemicals with molecular weight greater than 130 and less than 550 and log P less than 5. The spike RBD residues leucine 422, threonine 445, phenylalanine 453, asparagine 454, cysteine 455 and tyrosine 456 were used to define the binding site. Remdesivir was docked at this site in all conformations with Autodoc Vina. The spearpoint files were prepared on the basis of remdesivir binding pose in each protein conformation. Virtual screening of IBS database was performed on all conformations with MDoc program. Result and discussion. The standard drug remdesivir was found having best binding affinity to conformation 1 of a spike protein with MDoc docking score of -53.859. The top hit was found to have docking score of -62.814 on conformation 11 of a spike protein. Serine 461 residue make H bond interaction with remdesivir nitrogen, while threonine 445 residue makes H bond with a oxygen of hit 1 molecule. Conclusion: extended scale MD offer conformational flexibility of a spike protein. Utilizing such conformational flexibilities, the most promising hit molecules from natural product database were identified. We are probing further details through the MD studies. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Shubhangi Sutar and I am going to discuss here my original research work, that is simultaneous determination of melatonin impurities band HPLC method coupled with the diode array detection. Actually the melatonin is nothing but the it is N-acetyl 5-methoxytryptamine. It is a neurohormone produced mainly at the night by the pineal gland. It is subsequently decreasing to minimum during the day. It helps to treat the sleep disorders with diminishing the latency of the sleep inception, effective as free radicals removers and seen that endogenous in antioxidant. Melatonin has been used with the magnificent therapeutic results in the Alzheimer treatment. It is intended for the neurotoxicity induced by the glutamate and throughout jet lag treatment. Nowadays, there are the range of methods for the determining the melatonin, its pharmacological dosage forms, such like that of the HPLC, spectrophotometric method, and thin layer chromatography.
PUA presenting work on ensemble docking based receptor dependent 3D QSR on PIM kinase inhibitors and virtual screening to identify promising hits. The PIM proteins are family of short-lived serine and threonine kinase. This family of kinase composed of different PIM kinase including PIM1 to PIM3 which belong to the calcium calmodium dependent protein kinase. The PIM present in higher levels of hematopoietic cells. Currently around 190 crystal structures of PIM kinase in native and bound form are available. There are numerous reports where indole inhibitors has PIM inhibitors. Thus, the object of the current work is to perform docking of reported inhibitors at the binding site of the crystal structures of PIM1. Then, to align the best binding poses of inhibitors to the template of most active ligands among these inhibitors, and then to generate 3D QSR model to validate this model and to filter the e-molecule data. The dedicated on different criteria to perform docking with the filter compounds. Then to align the best positions of dock compounds to previously align set and predict the activity using developed 3D QSR model. The materials and method. In this we are initially did the docking with the autodock VINA, which is one kind of ensemble docking because we use the multiple proteins and multiple ligands. The proteins were aligned with the help of camera. Tinker program was used to optimize the structure open Babel to generate 3D QSR model. We did build the 3D QSR model with Open 3D QSR. For this, we use 59 PIM1 inhibitors from the literature. The base dock poses of each ligand were aligned. Then filtering of database and predicting the activity, we use Redkit to filter the database based on different criteria like number of heteroatoms, number of rings, molecular weight, etc. Then to dock the filter molecules after docking, the filter molecule, this molecules aligned to previously aligned database compound. Then to apply 3D QSR and to predict the activity to identify the base hit. The result and discussion. The base dock poses of 59 reported inhibitors were aligned to build the 3D QSR model. Then this 3D QSR model built with PLS regression with R square 0.94, Q square 0.64, then R square predicted 0.58, which is within well accepted values. The e-molecule database containing more than 20 million was filter in Redkit to get 437 compounds based on different criteria. In this figure, it is shown that these filter molecules were aligned to the previously aligned molecules with different contours were mapped. In this region, around these molecules, like steric contours or electrostatic contours were under map. It is shown in green, favorable region, and which is in red yellow, that is unfavorable region. When the filter molecules were predicted, it was at the top hit. E-mol 132, E-mol 326, 93326, PLC 50 predicted is equal to 9.89, IC 50.2 nanomole. Benzofuran oxidizole indole ring containing amino derivatives which fulfills all steric and electrostatic features and binds with PIM favorably. In conclusion, we integrating the structure based and ligand based approach together with the ensemble docking and identify the promising and novel PIM kinase inhibitors.
Greetings everyone, myself Ankita Borse from SMBT College of Pharmacy, Department of Pharmaceutical Chemistry. The title of my poster is Synthesis and Characterization of some aldehyde amino acid ester conjugates. Amino acid esters are employed as intermediates in organic synthesis and find application in a wide range of areas as medicinal and polymer synthesis and peptide and asymmetric synthesis with various biological activities like antimicrobial, anti-cancer, antimalarial, antiviral, anthelmintic and immunomodulatory. In material and methods, we have discussed a synthetic scheme in which we have reacted different aromatic aldehydes with different amino acid conjugates at some conditions, and we have got a amino acid ester conjugates of aldehydes. We have done an anthelmintic activity on the synthesized series of 1A to 1D, and the activity were found to be as 1A and 1B showed a strong activity on the Perithema postrema earthworms as using albendazole standard, and the time of paralysis and death were noted. So we have referred some references for this poster presentation and mentioned in the poster, and the synthesis were productively done, and synthesized aldehyde amino acid conjugates were screened for anthelmintic activity and showed a strong activity. Finally, I would like to express my special thanks of gratitude to the RAK College of Pharmaceutical Science, and thank you very much.
Title: Fast identification of possible potential inhibitors of the SARS-CoV main protease through computational drug repurposing study. Background or abstract. In COVID pandemic situation, there is an urgent development of antiviral drug to inhibit rapid spread of COVID-19. The drug repurposing or repositioning or reprofiling is a strategy to identify new use of approved drug or marketed drug which are currently present in some treatment of disease. The drug repurposing approach can significantly reduce time, cost, and safety risks as compared to the new drug development. The present drug repurposing study is carried out to find out possible inhibitor drugs either currently on the market or clinical trial to stop the infection inhibitor method. In the docking study, the main protease SARS-CoV is targeted using different anti-rheumatoid drug. The study was conducted by molecular docking using Autodock tool. The result of docking studies suggests that the tofacitinib and sulfasalazine as potent as the remdesivir against SARS-CoV-2 since they are tightly bound to the main protease which is responsible for replication of coronavirus. The docking result indicate that they are showed a promising features of binding of COVID enzyme. The conclusion of this docking study is that the above mentioned drug that can tightly bind to the main protease enzyme SARS-CoV strain, and they may be used to treat disease. No toxicity measured as required for these drugs since they were previously tested prior to their approval by the FDA.
So, good morning to one and all. My name is Shailesh Wadher. I am working in School of Pharmacy, Samay Namanatif, Marathwada University, Nanded, and I am here for my presentation on the topic that is in silico study of anti-arthritic drug for the COVID-19 repurposing approach. And my abstract code is PC138. And friend, here first I would like to give introduction why I have selected this particular topic. The purpose of this particular topic is that in this COVID-19 pandemic, everyone is in urgent need, in the urgent development of the drug which give activity against the coronavirus. But we all know that whatever the drug which we are using against the coronavirus is already existing drug, and that's why they have already applied the repurposing. So that's why comparing with the development of the new drug, it takes years for the development, approval, and other purposes. So that's why here we find that the repurposing can significantly solve this particular problem, and that's why we have selected the repurposing, which having the which reduce the cost, time, and the safety risk. And that's why, dear friend, in this we selected anti-arthritic drug which is used in the treatment of the arthritis, but we try to have the activity against this coronavirus, and that's why we use the docking study, tested the binding interaction of this particular drug with the SARS-CoV-2 protein target by the molecular docking compared with the remdesivir. Here we have used the remdesivir. So method which we have adopted here is the molecular docking study by using the enzyme that is the 3-CL hydrolase enzyme, SARS-CoV-2, and the another which receptor we select the RD-RP. Okay, so this RD-RP, that is the RNA dependent RNA polymerase, also we have selected here to have to see the interaction of our selected molecule, so that we can predict the activity of this anti-arthritic against the COVID-19. And we observe that when we compare the activity, that is the binding energy of our drug with the selected receptor, what we find that our drug having a very good binding energy. As such, if we see the table, in this first anti-arthritic having minus 6.85, while the remdesivir which we have selected here is only minus 5 to 5.24. Like this, in another case also it is minus 8.09, and in for remdesivir minus 6.19. So from this result we can conclude that this drug, selected drug, that is anti-arthritic drug, may give the activity against the SARS-CoV. Here I have not disclosed my drug name because I have sent this for the further in vivo and in vitro activity. Okay, but definitely as I am getting this very good interaction of my drug with the receptor, it will definitely give the activity in vivo in vitro activity against the COVID-19. Okay, and as such, if you see it is already available drug, no toxicity measure are required for this drug since they were previously tested prior to their approval by the FDA. Okay, so yes friend, this is my presentation. Thank you very much for listening my presentation. Thank you very much.
Title of my poster presentation is Effect of piperbital leaves extract on mast cell degranulation in mice and passive cutaneous anaphylaxis in a rat. Piperbital is a perennial dioecious climber. Methanolic extract of the leaves of piperbital was prepared using Soxhlet apparatus. Effect of prepared methanolic extract was studied on mast cell degranulation in mice and passive cutaneous anaphylaxis in a rat. Preliminary phytochemical studies showed the presence of carbohydrate, protein, alkaloids, phenolic compounds, and flavonoids. During mast cell degranulation study, maximum degranulation was observed in a control group. Intraperitoneal treatment with extract at dose of 250 and 500 mg per kg body weight showed significant inhibition of mast cell degranulation when compared with the control group. The degranulation of mast cell occurs in response to the immunological stimuli. The probable mechanism of the test extract to protect the mast cell from degranulation may be due to the inhibition of antigen-antibody reaction on the surface of the mast cell, or maybe by the stabilization of the mast cell. In passive cutaneous anaphylaxis model, control group showed maximum area of blue dye leakage. The significant inhibition of area of the blue dye leakage were observed in a group of rats treated with extract at a dose of 250 and 500 mg per kg body weight when compared with the control group. The inhibition of the blue dye leakage by extract is possibly due to the inhibition of histamine release or decreased vascular permeability or inhibition of antigen-antibody reaction. Study therefore confirms the anti-allergic activity of the test extract. Thank you. Title of my poster presentation is
I'm Neeta Sonogale from Bharati Vidyapeeth College of Pharmacy, Kolhapur. Today I am going to presenting e-poster presentation on development of antimicrobial copper nanoparticles via green chemistry approach. My abstract code number is PC140. In first one is the introduction. In that, green chemistry has attracted numerous attention recent decade due to its ability to process chemical reaction via eco-friendly reactions. Nanoparticles are the particles which are having particle size in the range of 1 to 100 nanometers. Nanoparticles are one of the most utilized chemicals due to their widespread range of applications. Metallic nanoparticles are upcoming medicinal compounds which are commonly utilized as anti-cancer, anti-diabetic and antimicrobial agents. Ring chemistry of nanoparticles is possible alternative for physical and chemical methods which are used for the synthesis of copper nanoparticles. It is also known as plant-mediated method which is used for the synthesis of nanoparticles. This method does not produce toxic materials and produces safer byproducts. They are efficient, sustainable and eco-friendly method. Objective of this work is this study was developed with an aim to develop copper nanoparticles using Fagonia arabica leaf extract and evaluate their antimicrobial activity. Materials and methods. In that, aqueous extract of Fagonia arabica leaves was used for the green synthesis of copper nanoparticles. The synthesized nanoparticles were characterized using UV visible spectroscopy, IDEX, SEM and IR spectroscopy. The antimicrobial evaluation of nanoparticles was carried out using diffusion plate method and culture of Bacillus subtilis, Pseudomonas aeruginosa and Staphylococcus aureus. The next one is the result and discussion. In that first one is the UV visible spectroscopy. In that the spectroscopic analysis, the copper nanoparticle showed sharp peak at 381 nanometer in UV, which corresponds to the production of copper nanoparticles. Second one is the same analysis which shows spherical shaped copper nanoparticles with size range of 32 nanometers. Third one is the IREX. IREX is a elemental detection method which shows presence of elements like copper, sulfur, oxygen and carbon, which indicated development of the copper nanoparticles. IR spectrum showed functional groups which are present in the synthesized copper nanoparticles. Antimicrobial study reveals that green synthesized copper nanoparticles had shown antimicrobial activity against Bacillus subtilis, Pseudomonas aeruginosa and Staphylococcus aureus. Next one is the conclusion. In that conclusion, the current study concludes that green chemistry can be alternative technique for development of copper nanoparticles as potent antimicrobial agents. The method of synthesis does not produce toxic material. This enables biological waste item to be used for the preparation of novel nanoparticles with specific applications. These are the some references I was used for the current study. Then the acknowledgements. The author thankful to the staff and principal of Bharati Vidyapeeth College of Pharmacy Kolhapur for providing all facilities to this work. And I also thankful to the RAC Sciences for giving me opportunity for the present my work. And thank you.
Hello everyone. I am Ms. Smita Kepuri, Department of Pharmacognosy and Phytochemistry, SETS College of Pharmacy, Dharwad, Karnataka, India. I am hereby presenting the work entitled Isolation, Characterization and Hepatoprotective Activity of Fungal Endophytic Fractions of Phyllanthus amaris leaves in paracetamol and ethanol-induced hepatotoxicity. Endophytes are the microorganisms present inside the plant tissues forming mutualistic, symbiotic and tropobiotic relationship. Endophytic organisms such as bacteria, fungi and actinomycetes are found in all types of vascular plants and grasses. Paracetamol and ethanol in higher doses yields to adverse reactions such as toxic liver. Phyllanthus is an important group of plants in India. Phyllanthus amaris, scum and thorn, is being distributed as a weed in waste and cultivated lands. Phyllanthus amaris belongs to the family Euphorbiaceae, is a plant traditionally used in treating viral hepatitis in India. Because endophytes are relatively unstudied, much attention is now being paid to their biodiversity, chemistry and bioactivity. Objectives of the study are to isolate and characterize endophytic fungi from the leaves of Phyllanthus amaris and to screen the endophytic fungal fractions for hepatoprotective activity in paracetamol and ethanol-induced toxicity models. Isolation of endophytic fungi. Leaves of Phyllanthus amaris were collected from the surrounding. Samples were cleaned under running water to remove foreign particles and then air dried. Samples were surface sterilized by 4% sodium hypochlorite for 30 seconds to 1 minute, 70% ethanol for 1 minute and sterile distilled water for 1 minute, 2 to 3 times. Surface sterilized entire leaves were cut into small segments. The leaf suspension or the leaf segments were then transferred to potato dextrose agar medium, which was amended with 150 mg per liter streptomycin to inhibit bacterial growth. It was kept for incubation at 23 degree to 25 degree for 7 to 14 days, and after 14 days, predominant isolates of fungi were picked up and purified. Culture purity was determined from colony morphology. We isolated 4 endophytic fungi, out of which PALF1 was selected for the study. PALF1 isolates were inoculated and fermented separately into an Erlenmeyer flask containing potato dextrose broth. Flasks with inoculated media were incubated at 27 degrees centigrade for 21 days. After 21 days of incubation, fractionation was carried out using chloroform, ethyl acetate and N-butanol solvents to obtain respective extracts, and they were weighed to get the crude fraction. Identification of the endophyte was done by PCR sequential analysis. In vitro antioxidant activity was also carried out for all the 3 extracts, that is chloroform, ethyl acetate and N-butanol extract. So based on the results of the in vitro antioxidant activity, we selected ethyl acetate and N-butanol fractions of PALF1 for the study. Paracetamol and ethanol induced hepatotoxicity of P1EA and P1NB. So paracetamol 2 grams per kg was used and ethanol 3.76 grams per kg per day, that is 20% of ethanol was used to induce liver damage in rats. Paracetamol is a common analgesic and an antipyretic drug which causes hepatocellular damage or necrosis in the rats. The study was carried out for 7 days at a dose of 50 mg per kg and 100 mg per kg. Ethanol produces dose-related deleterious effects in the liver, which alters the metabolic activity of hepatocytes, thereby inducing hepatic damage. The study was carried out for 18 days to study the efficacy against the ethanol-induced peroxidative damage in the liver of the rats. Results: the colonies from PALF1 matched with that of Aspergillus niger strain A6. All the fractions of PALF1 were revealed the presence of different secondary metabolites such as carbohydrates, flavonoids, steroids and alkaloids. Administration of paracetamol and ethanol, it caused liver damage and significantly elevated the levels of SGOT, SGPT, SALP, total and direct bilirubin, total triglycerides and total proteins as compared to the normal content. Whereas P1EA and P1NB in the doses of 50 mg per kg and 100 mg per kg reverse the elevated biochemical parameters as compared to paracetamol and ethanol treated groups. P1EA and P1NB also reverse the increased levels of LPO in ethanol treated group. SOD and CAT levels, which were decreased in paracetamol and ethanol treated group, were increased by P1EA and P1NB. Thus, P1EA and P1NB showed significant hepatoprotective activity in paracetamol and ethanol-induced models. The conclusion of the study is leaves of Phyllanthus amaris common thorn found to harbor bioactive endophytic fungi which were identified by molecular characterization and phylogenetic studies. Endophytic fractions exhibited the therapeutic potential as the hepatoprotective agents in the model studies. The authors are thankful to the President, Sony Education Trust and Principal, SETS College of Pharmacy, Dharwad for encouragement, support and providing the necessary facilities to carry out the research work. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone. The title of the presentation is In Vitro and In Silico Correlation Studies of Natural Acetylcholinesterase Inhibitor, an Approach Towards Alzheimer's Disease. Introduction. Alzheimer's disease is one of the most damaging neurodegenerative disorder characterized by deterioration of cognitive function. Acetylcholinesterase is involved in termination of impulse transmission by hydrolysis of acetylcholine. The inactivation of acetylcholinesterase by various inhibitory drugs increases the accumulation of neurotransmitter in the cortex of the brain and thus normalizes the disrupted neurotransmission. Ayurveda is one of the oldest system of medicine and uses variety of crude drugs for memory related disorders. Ashwagandha and Brahmi is widely used in Ayurveda for various ailments. Objectives. In the present study, an attempt has been made to understand the effect of hydroalcoholic extracts of Vidania somnifera and Centella asiatica and their markers like vidanoline A and asiaticoside on acetylcholinesterase inhibition by in vitro and in silico screening models. Materials and methods. Vidania somnifera and Centella asiatica were purchased from local market of Udupi and is authenticated by taxonomist. The shade-dried raw material were extracted with hydroalcohol 80-20 by reflux condenser and concentrated using vacuum evaporator and lyophilized to a powdery mass. The extracts and markers like vidanolide A and asiaticoside are subjected for in vitro screening by using Amplex acetylcholinesterase assay kit, and the IC50 values are compared with the standard drug rivastigmine. In silico molecular docking studies of markers were carried out on Schrodinger molecular modeling suite using Mastro interface. The docking scores are compared with the standard drug donepezil. Results and discussion. The results of in vitro acetylcholinesterase is expressed by IC50 value. Vidania somnifera extract shows 52.91 microgram. Centella asiatica extract shows 116.03 microgram. Vidanolide A shows 59.40 microgram and asiaticoside shows 84.18 microgram. Whereas standard drug rivastigmine shows 10.32 micromolar. As per the IC50 value, Vidania somnifera and Centella asiatica has significant acetylcholinesterase inhibition compared to the standard drug. The results of in silico molecular docking studies on most important markers present in the extract for acetylcholinesterase inhibition are expressed in the form of a docking score are compared with the standard drug donepezil. Vidanolide A and asiatic acid shows minus 10.408 and minus 4.988 respectively, whereas the standard donepezil shows minus 12.947. To conclude with, Alzheimer's pathology is very complex and believed to contain deficit in cholinergic system that directly contribute to the disease progression. The current study was undertaken to understand the effect of traditional herbal drug, ashwagandha and Brahmi. In vitro and in silico studies of the extracts and the marker compounds suggest that both the drugs have significant acetylcholinesterase inhibition and can be used to control the symptoms of Alzheimer's disease. Finally, acknowledgement. The authors are thankful to Department of Pharmacognosy, Manipal College of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Manipal Academy of Higher Education for providing laboratory facilities and other infrastructure to carry out the work. Authors are also thankful to RAK Corps for providing the present platform in the form of a e-conference. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, myself Nadira from India, NFI Pharmacy College and Research Center, Department of Pharmacology. My study title is Cardioprotective Activities of Sulfitrin combined with extract against isoproterenol induced myocardial damage in Lister albino-rats. Now moving to introduction. Myocardial infarction is the most common form of medical emergency which increases both morbidity and mortality. Isoproterenol, it is the beta-adrenergic agonist which causes oxidative stress in the myocardium used to induce MI in the experimental rat. In spite of tremendous treatment for cardiovascular disease, nowadays global more interest toward the drug which derived from the plant and plant product because it has a less cost, less adverse effect and also easily available. So in my study I chosen the plant Syzygium campanitum. It is belong to family Mitraceae. As study proven that it has anti-angiogenesis, anti-cancer and hepatoprotective effect. The objective of study is to evaluate the cardioprotective activity of ethanolic extract of Syzygium campanitum in Lister albino rats against isoproterenol-induced myocardial injury. Now moving to methodology. After collection of the leaf, it is dried and made into powder form. Then it is subject to extraction in a succinate apparatus method using ethanol as a solvent. Then it is subject to phytochemical estimation. After that, animal experiment was performed. In animal experiment, adult male Lister albino rats 8 to 12 weeks with 172 to 20 gram were used. Animal is divided into 5 groups, each group of 6 animals. The animal experiment was performed after approval from the Institutional Animatrix Committee. Then the treatment is given for 28 days, all the groups. After 24 hours of last dose of treatment, the isoproterenol 85 mg per kg is given all the group except normal control group. After 48 hours of last dose of ISO, ECG is recorded under anesthetic condition using ketamine as an anesthetic agent. After that, blood sample is collected by a cardiac puncture and the serum was separated in centrifuge method for estimation of the serum markers, and heart is excited under Himani condition. One part is homogenated and used for in vivo antioxidant, and one more part is for histopathological study. Now moving to result and discussion. The percentage yield is obtained is 20%. Result of phytochemical estimation shown the presence of the flavonoids, steroids, terpenoids, alkaloids, cardiac glycosides, saponins, carbohydrates and phenols. Then effect of the drug on the ECG. In the ECG of the ISA treated group, there is ST elevation and there is a decrease in the QRS, RR, PR interval were seen as compared to the normal. Where the rat treated with the extract and standard drug, these parameters were restored to normal control. The effect of the drug on the serum marker. We can see here like the serum enzyme like ALT, AST, CKMB, CKNF, ALP and LDH were significantly increased in the rat treated with the ISO 85 mg per kg as compared to the control. These parameters were decreased in the rat treated with the extract and standard as compared to the ISO group. Then effect of the drug on the histopathological examination. The rat treated with the ISO 85 mg per kg shown the nuclear pyknosis and cell were inflammatory in response to ischemia. Grade 3 changes were seen. Where rat treated with cesium 250 mg per kg, grade 2 changes were seen. Rat treated with the cesium 500 mg per kg, grade 1 changes were seen, which is restored to damaged architecture to normal control. Rats treated with standard drug metoprolol, tissue resembling normal. Then effect of the drug on the in vivo antioxidant effect. There is decrease in the activity of superoxide dismutase and glutathione catalyst, and with raising the activities of malonaldehyde. Rat treated with IS as compared to the control, where there is increase in the SOD GST catalyst with decrease in the MDR seen in the rat treated with the extract. Conclude that the result of endogenous antioxidant, biochemical and histopathological evidence that cesium compoundation is effective control in the serum enzyme level and reduce the cardiac complication in experimental induced MI in the rats. These are references. Thank you.